Hey guys, it's Simeon. This is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on Wednesday, the 24th of July, 2019 to talk about everything that went down this week in professional wrestling. A lot of stuff came out today, actually. Quite a bit of news came out today, let alone everything from this past week. We did not do a SmackDown Live review last night. I did have a prior engagement that did keep me away. I only saw half of the show live. Right about before Kofi came out, I had to leave. And, excuse me, I had to leave. And so I didn't catch that show, the second half live. I have seen the whole show since. So I can't give my thoughts on last night's SmackDown. I think the Kofi Randy Orton stuff, phenomenal. Great. I loved it. I love the continuity as bringing back the old stuff when they feuded back in the day. I love talking about that. And I loved that Kofi or Randy Orton was like, hey, I don't have to try hard to be a top guy here. You're this guy that had to talk like a Jamaican. Then you had to throw pancakes and shake your booty. I don't have to do any of that to be a top guy. So, interesting stuff. Before we keep going, I do want to state that if you are a member of the PWUnlimited YouTube channel, we will be doing an exclusive members-only post-show for tonight's live stream. I will let you guys know exactly how to get into that post-show live stream when we get to the end of this show. You guys pick the topics. Doesn't have to be wrestling related. It can be anything you guys want to talk about. I got something that I want to talk about on that show. So let's do it. I might not do it after every Wednesday show, but at least once or twice a month, we'll be doing the PWUnlimited Wednesday post show for members only. And you may ask, how do I become a member? You can do so by going down where it says subscribe and hitting the join button. Hit that join button, and for only $4.99, you can support us right here on YouTube. You will get access to our special emojis. You will get access to having the badge next to your name in the live chat. And, of course, all the other cool content we will be putting up for our members, like tonight's post show for members only. And that show will not go out to non-members afterwards. It will stay, even after it is done and no longer live, it will stay a members-only video or a members-only show. Also, with a little more housekeeping, no Nick tonight. Nick got called in to do a second shift today as people called out, and he's, I guess, one of the reliable employees that they have. And I mean, hey, got to make that money. You get extra hours, go for it. I'd do the same thing. So, again, we will be doing the post-show after this show, roughly about 5 minutes afterwards. We just got to click a few buttons to swap a few things over to make it for members only. But before we go, Nicholas Altamore with the question, how can I join on mobile? It won't let me. I'm under the assumption here, while we talk, I will look into that. So, while I look into that for Nicholas Altamore and others who may have the same question, we will be taking your calls tonight. We'll be taking your text. You can call in at 559-475-8473. You can text in at 510-906-1341. So as I look here really fast to see if it'll let you. Now, Nicholas Altamore, are you on an Android phone or an iPhone? Because that could make the difference on if I can actually check it for you. I am on an Android device. I am checking right now on Android devices to see if it is possible. Go to the PWUnlimited YouTube channel, click join. Click join again. Yep, it looks like on Android at least it is working. I don't know about if you're on an iPhone maybe. You're on Apple. Okay, see, I can't check on that because I only have iPhone devices Android devices. So it may have to do with your iTunes account. Maybe, do you have your credit card information linked? Or do you have some sort of a payment option linked? If so, then or if not, that could be the issue. But with that, got some stuff to talk about tonight. Nonetheless, Ring of Honor and NWA. The Ring of Honor and the NWA are no longer working together per a report from PW Insider, and it's unclear why the two sides are not working together, but it could indicate that maybe some things are coming up on the horizon for the NWA. I know Billy Corgan had stated that once he can get television, he wanted to really focus on the NWA being its own thing. I liked what they did when they first brought it back, working with all these other promotions, going around to these indies like Championship Wrestling from Hollywood and whatnot, and doing matches, doing title matches, getting contenders from those companies, and then they really hit it big when they started working with Ring of Honor. Now, reportedly, like I stated, they're no longer working with Ring of Honor, and we don't know why. We don't know if there was a blow-up between Billy Corgan, David Lagana, and maybe ROH officials, or if maybe Billy Corgan just feels, hey, it's time. We need to go do our own thing. And I don't know about this right now. It's not like they have a big roster of people currently signed exclusively to the NWA, or maybe not even exclusively, but just signed to the NWA itself to use them once or if they do get weekly television. So if I look here, let me see if I can find a current NWA roster. NWA roster in 2019. List, those are champions. I want to see if there is a list here of just straight, let's go, NWA Hall of Fame, Corgan era. Let's see. I don't see a list of currently signed. Yeah, there's no list that I can find. Let me look one other place. NWA Wrestling. Because honestly, it's like, who do they really have signed? Nick Aldis, Eli Drake, James Storm on the men's side. On the women's side, what do you got? Sienna. We don't even know if she's exclusively signed. We've got Jazz maybe still signed. But we don't even know if she's going to want to wrestle anymore. So it's interesting to see where the NWA goes. Because like I said, do they just randomly pull guys from the indies and say, hey, we want to use you this week? Or, hey, we want to use... Or they go to a indie promotion and say, hey, we want to use your roster on our show at the next tapings for 3 weeks of shows. We don't know what they're going to do. And it's going to be very interesting if they can get television, where they go going forward. They were using basically the Ring of Honor roster. And now that they're not working with Ring of Honor, I would highly doubt if Ring of Honor is just going to be like, oh, yeah, you can use any of our guys still. Because think about it. David Lagana, who does all the video production for the NWA, was also doing video production for Ring of Honor. He was the one doing those Pinnacle series earlier this year that was really good. He also does the 10 Pounds of Gold and everything else on their YouTube channel. But it's like, if he's not working for them anymore, maybe they get salty about that. Maybe they get mad. And it's just like, where do we go from here? I don't know. And this is going to be something we're going to need to follow. Because, again, in that report from PW Insider, it stated that Billy Corgan really wants to push hard with the NWA as its own thing going forward once he is done with his current tour with his band, the Smashing Pumpkins. So, just looking at the live chat here. Someone said something about Wikipedia. I tried to look Wikipedia to see if there was a list of currently signed NWA roster members. But there's no actual... There's current champions. But there's no actual current roster list that I can see here on the... what would you call it? On the Wikipedia page. And also, if you look at this, the NWA World Tag Team Champions are PCO and Brody King still. They won those titles at... why can I not think of the Nick Crockett Cup? And now, if they're not working together, Where does that leave the tag titles? So the tag titles now got to be vacated, or will Ring of Honor allow PCO and Brody King to at least come in and drop the titles? I would hope that they play nice and say, okay, you can bring them in and they can get beat by whoever you want to beat them to become new NWA World Tag Team Champions. Looking here, got a super chat from Luke Might. He says, who do you think will be on the cover of WWE 2K20? And that's a tough one. So last year we got AJ Styles. This year, many fans have been clamoring Becky Lynch. Could happen. I can also maybe see them doing Ronda, but now that Ronda's gone since Mania, that's kind of less likely. Thinking about it here, it's like, who else do they really have other than Becky that's a big star and would be cool to see on the cover? Becky would also be the first female on a WWE video game cover since, I want to say, hold on, I want to look something up really fast. Because I'm thinking of when I remember the last female on a WWE video game cover. But I also think there may have been someone more recent than what I'm thinking. But to be honest, so the last female that I think to grace a cover of a WWE video game, is that number 2? I just lost it. WWE. So I think it may have been. Now, what game came out the soonest, like the most recent? Was it Day of Reckoning 2 or Here Comes the Pain? The Day of Reckoning 2 was 2005. WWE Here Comes the Pain. Wait, no. Yeah. So Here Comes the Pain was 2003. So it was Day of Reckoning 2 on the GameCube. Was the last one to have a female on the cover, and that was Stacy Keibler. Wogan King Slender suggests Kofi Kingston, and that would be a cool one. Someone says Newman Coast says Roman Reigns. No. Chris McNutt says SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. Who was on the cover of that? Was there a female on the cover there? Let's see. SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 it did have Tori on it. Okay, so that's what it was. I forgot that Tori was on that cover. I knew she was on the Here Comes the Pain cover. But to be honest, I don't even remember SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. So, I couldn't have even told you that it was Tori Wilson from memory, to be 100% honest. But yeah, that would have been it. It would have been SmackDown vs. Raw 2007, which was 2 years after Day of Reckoning, which had Stacy Keibler. 2 years prior to that, Tori Wilson was also on Here Comes the Pain. And that may be the only covers that had a female. Now, correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, or in the comments below if you're watching later. But I think those were the only ones that had a female on the cover. Here Comes the Pain. Well, Day of Reckoning 1 and 2. Day of Reckoning 1 had Trish Stratus. So Here Comes the Pain and Day of Reckoning came out around the same time. And that had Tori and Trish. And then Day of Reckoning 2, whole cover was basically Stacy. And then SmackDown vs. Raw 2007, boom, Tori Wilson again. Gabriel Perez, we already talked about the whole NWA Ring of Honor stuff. We don't know what happened other than the report from PW Insider that states that the two sides are no longer working together as far as the NWA and Ring of Honor. If you want to hear my thoughts on those two sides not working together, either watch the beginning of this show later or just rewind since you're live and catch it up. So let's talk a little bit. There was two major things that came out today. And again, before we get going, if you do want to call into this show tonight and give me your thoughts on anything or just shoot the shit about wrestling, you can do so at 559-475-8473. You can also text in your thoughts, questions, concerns at 510-906-1341. Last thing about the 2K20 cover thing here, I don't think Charlotte should be on the cover. Fans are going to resent that. And what has Charlotte really done other than be thrusted into the main event of WrestleMania when she really shouldn't have been this year? She really hasn't done anything else of note to make her like a big star that should be on the cover. But let's take this call here. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on? Caller going once. Twice. Out of there. Do we have another one? Let's try this one. Me? How's it going?
I'm pretty good. I actually have a question.
Go for it.
So, like, in your opinion, who do you think would be on the cover of 2K20?
You know, like I said, I can see it probably being Becky. Maybe Kofi. But if I had to choose between the two, I would probably say Becky Lynch.
I get where you're seeing Kofi, but if they wanted to do Kofi, they would have to put the other members of the New Day.
I thought that
like,
too.
Their team. And also, I'm surprised WWE hasn't even like announced anything for this, because usually they announce something around this time.
Well, that's not on WWE. That's on 2K. And I don't know where they are as far as development in the game and what they're doing. We do know that people within the last couple of months have filmed audio and voiceovers and stuff, because Corey Graves, Baron Corbin, Mickie James, they all posted that they filmed audio for the game. And I think even Rhonda showed that she did a body scan for the game for her new character model. So they're working, but we don't know how far in. Usually by now, we at least get like an announced trailer or something within. Usually we get something by the early to middle July, and we're almost at the end of July and still nothing.
And who do you think would be like the pre-order bundle, like the pre-order person, like person that they usually
the
have?
rumor is either Edge, Kurt Angle, or both.
I don't think they're gonna do Kurt Angle because they already did him.
Well, here's the thing.
But
Kurt Angle recently posted a photo of a stack of autographs stating that he needed to sign 10,000 autographs, and the photos that he was signing had the WWE 2K logo on them. So whether he's the pre-order bonus or they're doing like a Legends pack where you get an item from a different Hall of Famer or a different legend, those two have done some sort of autographed signed thing for 2K this year.
I noticed they've been doing that Legend bundle. Didn't they do that for 2K20?
Pardon? You cut out a little bit.
Didn't they do that Legend bundle for 2K20? Like,
where
like
2K20 is the one coming up this year. You mean last year, 2K19?
Yeah, 2K19, my bad.
Legends bundle. I don't think they did. I know last year we got Ray and we got Rhonda as pre-order bonuses, but I don't remember.
So
I know.
The deluxe edition.
Pardon?
You get like Dusty. There's like a edition where you can get like Dusty.
I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, it was really just different character models of guys we were already getting, like a different version of Dusty Rhodes, a different version of Ric Flair, a different version of I think Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, because they did do that Ric Flair edition last year.
Like that Woo edition.
Right, exactly. And then I think it was
two.
I was going to say, and then I think it was 2 games ago, could be 3, when they did the Hall of Fame Showcase mode, where that was DLC that came later.
I know last year for the DLC, is that like the featured one, or is that the feature star one? Like last year they did EC3, Bobby
Right.
Lashley.
They did like
Warrior.
8 to 10, maybe 11 new people. You got Candice LeRae, you had the Viking Raiders, you had EC3, and then some others.
Who do you think would be on that this year?
On that this year, it's hard because we haven't seen. Usually, what they do is it's got to be people that came to NXT after WrestleMania, and we really haven't seen anybody that's broken out as like a breakout, big, cool new star since WrestleMania. So that's a tough one because everybody that I would think from NXT right now on the roster should already be in the game, like a Matt Riddle that we didn't have last time. And I honestly don't know who it can be that you have now that you can wait on. Because everybody that you have now should be in the base roster.
Honestly, for like a pre-order thing for a DLC, I can see it being Kushida.
But that's
like
maybe
like a future big star.
Right, I can maybe, but you need more than one person to do a Future Stars pack. And as you said there, that's only one name. And I can't think of anybody else. You do have the breakout tournament they're doing right now, but none of them are big enough names to sell a DLC pack.
You could do Harlem Heat.
But you would assume they're going to already be in the game.
I know Booker T was already in it.
Right, Booker's in every game. But when we're talking about Future Stars packs, you need guys in NXT who are now just coming up. And, Kristen McNutt in the chat says Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne's already in the game. He was in the game last year.
Walter
could be one. I see some people. Punishment Martinez could be another one. Keith Lee, I would put in the base model of the game. Thanos Snaps Fingers in the chat does state that you can use some of the NXT UK talent and make them DLC only, which maybe you can do a DLC UK deal, which would be okay. But with that, I want to say thank you for the call and have a great night.
You too.
So, looking at it, Mia Yim, she's been in NXT long enough. She needs to be in the base of the game. She needs to be in the base roster, to be honest. I could see her working in a Future Stars pack role because they did put Candice in the Future Stars pack role when she had already been in for a little while. So Mia Yim, maybe, but I could also possibly see Mia Yim in the base roster. So, talking about the big news from today, we learned that AEW will start on TNT officially October 2nd. The first episode of AEW on TNT will be on October 2nd, live from the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. I did not see that coming. Washington, D.C. Now, the thing here is this is a 20,000 seat arena. Essentially, if you think about it, you can have more people at that first episode of AEW on TNT than you do at All Out, than you did at Double or Nothing, that they've had at any show. That could be their biggest attended show thus far because it's a 20,000 seat arena. As we learned from last year with All In, they're only going to get maybe 11 to 12, if 12,000 people in the Sears Center for All Out. So we'll see what they do. Right now, there's no name for the show. One would assume that you could call it Wednesday Night Dynamite because they did file for the trademark. But at the same time, with them not announcing the name today, almost leads me to believe that they're contemplating other names besides Wednesday Night Dynamite. Because if the name is essentially Wednesday Night Dynamite, which it, all intents and purposes could be, why won't they just announce that now? Everybody knows about that name because they filed the trademark. And it's just like, what other names are they possibly contemplating to where they can't just come out today and say, oh, it's Friday Night Dynamite or Tuesday Night Dynamite, Wednesday. Wednesday Night Dynamite. So you got to think that there may be other names that they're contemplating. But today at the Television Critics Association panel for Warner Media, they did state, in fact, the name should be announced in the coming weeks. So in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Hopefully before All Out. So we'll see exactly if any new names do come up. Check and see if they maybe trademark something new. I mean, we can always look and see if there's any new trademarks filed by All Elite Wrestling that could maybe lead us to believe of a new name. But when you look at all the trademarks filed by All Elite Wrestling themselves, all you really have, if we go here and we look, I've got the list pulled up right here. Wednesday Night Dynamite. They still have the Tuesday Night Dynamite trademark, which is smart for them to keep because you don't want anybody to steal that away. But really, that's all you've got is Wednesday Night Dynamite. Now, I wouldn't think this could be the case, but I can go and look and see if maybe Cody Rhodes or one of the Young Bucks has filed something new. We can look here, Cody Runnels, and see what trademarks he has under his name. Cody's got Bash of the Beach trademarked. He's got Battle Bowl, Bunkhouse Stampede, but he's got nothing for television. So if we go and we look at the Young Bucks, first name we got to look here is Matt Massey. Matt Massey has Super Kick Party. He's got that trademarked under his name. If we go here and we look at Nick Massey and maybe Nicholas, let me see. If we go here and we look, yeah, it's going to be Nicholas. Nicholas Massey. He's got Being the Elite under his name. And I got to check Matt again because it's actually Matthew. Weird. Matt has a couple different trademarks with different names. He's got Super Kick Party under Matt Massey, but then he's got Being the Elite, and then Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson under Matthew Massey. Interesting. And I don't think Kenny Omega has anything filed under his name. And I wouldn't think, I can look though, but I wouldn't think Tony Khan has anything filed under his name for the company itself. But we can look really fast. No, Tony Khan doesn't have anything filed under his name. So it's going to be interesting to see if the name they go with is Wednesday Night Dynamite, or if there's something else, or if we even hear that they were contemplating something else. Because like I said, if the name is essentially going to be Wednesday Night Dynamite, why not just announce it now? Why wait? So we know that, the show's going to be... It's weird, too, the other thing, because initially they said that TNT is going to treat this like a sports property. But then when they were tweeting stuff out today, they were tweeting it out as TNT drama. So that's another thing that was kind of interesting to me, as far as they didn't want to be considered just another television show on TNT. They wanted to be considered a sports property on TNT. TNT stated that when they made the initial announcement. They stated that when they made the initial announcement. And now they're under TNT Drama, which is their entertainment part of TNT and Warner Media, that side. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see where this all does go. It's going to be interesting. And the other thing is, what is WWE doing? According to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful.com, he stated that he was told that WWE is going to do what they can to put NXT up against AEW and make it competition as much as they can. I don't know if the NXT show is going to ever be able to be competition, like if it's going to be good enough, or no, I can't say it's not going to be good enough. That's not what I want to say here. It's more of the fact of, how do I phrase this? no matter what happens, whether we get AEW, NXT on FS1 or staying on the WWE Network, no matter what happens, TNT is going to be a bigger network and have a bigger reach than either of them. FS1 is a good network. For all we know, they can advertise NXT on FS1 on Fox, during the NFL, during SmackDown, during college football, during NASCAR, during all their other stuff. That's a positive. But at the same time, you do the same thing with the AEW. Advertise them during the NBA. Advertise them during other Fox, or not Fox things, any other Turner Sports products. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Thanos Snaps, I don't see NXT going to 2 hours on FS1. I don't see that happening. But another thing that I could maybe see happening, and then let's get the wheels spinning here for a second. Live on Wednesdays on FS1. NXT now being live. You can still film it from Full Sail, but here's the issue with that. Full Sail may not be available every single Wednesday, and if it's not, then you got to go somewhere else. Maybe 1 week they're at Full Sail, maybe 1 week they're at Center Stage in Atlanta. They're not going to tour with it like on every Wednesday. They're not going to do that. But think about this now. A lot of people wanted to know, why wasn't Triple H chosen for one of the quote-unquote executive director roles of either Raw or SmackDown? And one thing that I've thought about is, what if the reason Triple H was not chosen for one of those roles is because he's got a bigger role coming with NXT? If somehow, if some way, NXT becomes a live show on FS1 or even just on the network, it becomes a live show, Triple H will be a lot more busy with NXT. Hence, while he's got to step away a little more from the main roster. He can't be running SmackDown on Tuesdays if that next day, Wednesday, he's got to be wherever NXT is going to be to film. Now this is all hypothetical, if they're live. So think about that for a second. If they do go live every week with NXT to try and go up against All Elite Wrestling, Triple H will have a more, what's the word I'm looking for, busy schedule, maybe, with having to be there every week instead of once a month for the NXT tapings. So, again, it's going to be interesting to see what happens October 2nd when All Elite Wrestling does start on TNT. And remember, just 2 days later, October 4th, SmackDown moves to Fox. So everything starts the same week. Everything gets going at the same time. And we'll see. We'll see what happens when it all does happen. I would assume if they are moving NXT over to FS1, that announcement's got to come sometime soon. An announcement does have to come rather soon. You would think October. It's July now. You've got 2 months-ish. So, things are rolling, guys. Just looking at the chat here. Luke Might says, "Hey Tim, do you support Chris Van Vliet?" Of course. Great guy. I briefly met him when we were in Vegas for Double or Nothing weekend. He was literally sitting like 2 seats next to me during the entire show. I'll introduce myself. Great guy. He's now apparently working for or with, I don't know if he's working for or with, I don't know the logistics of all that, but he's running the quote-unquote all-out control center on Road 2, which is pretty cool. So looking at the chat here. This person here says, 323 says, "Have you seen the WWE Network update?" I've only seen the video that they put out earlier today. Now, that leads me perfectly into my next subject, which is WWE Network update. Now, according to the WWE Network support Twitter account, the update is going to roll out tonight. Like, people could be already getting that WWE Network update. I don't know what devices are going to get it first. I don't know what platforms are going to be the first ones to see it, whether that's your phone with the WWE app, whether that's your computer with Chrome, or your iOS stuff with like Opera, or whatever the iOS desktop stuff is. I don't know. I don't use Apple products. But when you look at what they're doing with this, to me, right now, this just looks like a cosmetic update. A cool way to make it, a way to make it look cool, new, and fresh. Nothing back-end wise, other than the search is supposed to be better. You can fast forward easier as far as trying to pinpoint where you want to go. And then the superstar page thing. But that also a little bit of a cosmetic thing, kind of. Now, I know a lot of people have asked, like Netflix, can we download to watch offline? Say you're going on a trip, driving somewhere far, you're not going to have reception. Going on a flight, fly in 5 hours, no Wi-Fi, want to watch WWE something or other. They did state that is not coming in this update. You will not be able to download for offline viewing with this new update. But with the new update, they did state that we'll be getting a sleeker, more streamlined design. Again, like I said, the superstar pages, the new search function, and as far as when you're fast forwarding, you will actually see kind of like a little pop-up of on the fast forward timeline thing, a little deal will pop up and show you what you're seeing and what you will see when you finally stop where you want to be. And this is all cool. It's going to make it look more sleeker. It's going to make it look more fresh. We've had this same WWE Network since 2014 when the network launched. And I pray to God that this update is streamlined and looks the same on all devices and works the same on all devices, because it's not the same on all devices. The Roku app for WWE Network sucks. It's the worst one of all. Then you've got your computer one where, okay, everyone knows what it looks like on your computer. You've got the live thing here, recommended stuff under it, your buttons. And you've got, like, on your PlayStation and your Xbox, you've got the live thing on the right side, the left side. You've got some suggested and what's coming up next on the right side. You can scroll and pick different things. Cool. But that Roku one is so bad. It's literally a list it's just a list of text. And you'll see, watching the live now, upcoming, schedule, and then you can click all the different categories. And then say it says live now. So you hover over that, and then it's got this little box on the side that kind of shows you the thumbnail. And don't even get me started about, say I wanted to watch SmackDown from 2004. You literally can't just go SmackDown replay, change the year, 2004. Boom. Simple enough, you would think. No. On the damn Roku app, you literally have to go to SmackDown replay, then you have to go to the let it load. Because you can't just what's the word I'm looking for? You can't just go to it quickly. You've got to click it, let everything load up, and then you've got to scroll all the way back to whatever year you're looking for. So if you're looking for like Raw 1992, then you've got to scroll all the way back to Raw 1992. But every year you got to go back 1 year, let it load for a second. Back 1 year, let it load for a second. Back 1 year. The Roku app sucks, and I hope this new update is streamlined across the entire WWE Network devices, wherever you want to call it, whatever device you're using, so that they all finally look the same. Dano Snaps Finger says, I use my PS4 for WWE Network. But like I said, I use the Roku app only when I'm watching something live. Because my TV is a TCL Roku built-in TV, so it's just the easiest way for me to do it. But I will not try to watch something on the Roku app if it's not live. Now, if they fix it with this new update, Cool. Hallelujah. I don't have to go to my Amazon Fire Stick on my PS4 anymore, or just watch it on my computer. So, it'd be interesting to see. Again, the updates are supposed to start rolling out as early as tonight, as early as 10 p.m. Eastern time. So within the last 2 hours, some people on some devices could have already started seeing this new update. It says that, so let me get the actual tweet here. I'm going to pull it up for you guys. I'm going to get the actual tweet that was sent out by the WWE, Ask WWE Network. They sent out this tweet here. If it'll load for me, because you know, sometimes things don't like to load. It states, because they were getting questions about, hey, when's the update going to come? You said this week, when can I expect it? You know? And, why can't I find... Here we go. Let's change. Trying to pull up the quote for you guys, and it's just not wanting to work. So, wait, I may have it here now. All right, here we go. So let's see this. You guys should be able to see it now on the screen. It says right here, it says, thank you for your response, Wrestling Nerd 27. He asked the question about when are we going to get it. He says, happy to clear that out for you. The update is July 24th, 2019 at 10 p.m. Eastern till July 26th, 2019 at 6 p.m. Eastern. Time is in Eastern and U.S. time. Thank you for contacting WWE Network social support. Have a great day. And then they do the whole DO because they want to know. Whenever you contact Ask WWE Network, you're going to get like a DO or I think it's an MF. I think they do that because multiple people run the account and they want to know who's sending out what tweet or what message. So with that, that's when we can expect this new update for the WWE Network. And I think it's going to be cool. It's going to be really awesome to play around with it and see what we get for the first couple of days. You play around for an hour, and then you're just going to have the regular WWE Network. I don't know if any new content is going to be added immediately either, or if it's just the same library we already have, and there you go. So, just looking at the chat here. Actually, before we do that, let's see if we have any text messages. You can text in at 510-906-1341. 510-906-1341 to text in. You can call in at 559-475-8473. This person here, 443, in the chat line says, sup, Tim? What do you think about AEW and NWA having a working relationship? That would be an interesting thing. I did think about that earlier. But at the same time, I think Billy Corgan's ready to try and move forward with getting the NWA on its own. If he's looking to run pay-per-views, like we have seen too, if he's looking to run television, AEW's not going to work. Because I don't see them, once they start TV in October, allowing their guys to be working for other promotions in the States. That's going to be, maybe, possibly, could be considered competition. This person here says, 514 in the chat, or the text message says, do you think Ronda will come back at SummerSlam to invade Becky versus Natalya? I see a lot of people asking that on Twitter and stuff, and I don't think so. I don't think you need Ronda to come back for this Becky-Natalya match because, here's the thing. I don't see them taking the title off of Becky for Natty. And if you have Ronda come down to help Natty, then Natty has to win. Ronda's not going to be made to look like a goof when losing. You know what I mean? Like, if Ronda comes down and helps Natty and fails, it looks bad on Ronda. So then when Ronda comes back eventually, it's going to be like, this fucking girl couldn't even help Natty beat Becky. So, I wouldn't do it. They could, but I wouldn't do it. Let's take a call. got this call right here. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Yo, Jim, what's up? What's going on, man?
Not much. How are you?
I'm doing good. I got a question. It involves like the Universal title and WWE title.
Okay.
Okay. In your opinion, which champion has been booked better? In your opinion, I'm not saying because I'm a fan of both of them, but I think Kofi has been booked better because he's facing different people. Unlike except with the Universal title, it kind of it's repetitive. Brock Lesnar, again, we've seen it. Personally, I'm not excited for the match. Baron Corbin wasn't really into it. It's kind of just been repetitive. We need new people. Like if Seth wins, come on, let Drew be another heel to have the title. That'd be great.
So to answer your question, I'd say 100% Kofi, and here's why though. Kofi Kingston, since even before winning the title, since he got over big in that gauntlet match, he has not lost as far as when it didn't make sense. The only times we've seen Kofi lose is to build up his next challenger. We saw Randy Orton pinned him last week. Boom, Randy Orton's getting the title shot at SummerSlam. And really, since WrestleMania, that may have been one of the first losses Kofi actually had. The only other losses he had before winning the title, which was building him up then, he lost in the Chamber, of course, and he lost those 2 gauntlet matches. But in losing, he was actually made to look bigger than he would have if he would have won all those matches anyways. So I think Kofi has probably been one of the, not just best booked champions in WWE, but I think as far as keeping somebody on the up and up, Kofi's probably been booked the best of anybody in the last 3 or 4 years.
I would agree. To me, the Universal title picture it's bland, repetitive. You can't. It's like you could book. Why don't you book someone else? You're building up McIntyre, but you have him with Shane for what? This guy's a top star. He has a great pro. He's everything. He's everything you want. I don't know why they just don't put the title on him. Braun, he's hit and miss.
Yeah, that's true. And
oh yeah, go ahead, Tim.
I was gonna say, I don't know why they keep doing the whole Drew McIntyre as a sidekick thing. It's very weird when he's probably the best heel they have and would make a really good heel champion.
I've been waiting for that since he got back, really.
Yeah, me too.
I hope that happens one day, because if it's not, that's probably the biggest wasted opportunity ever.
I would wholeheartedly agree with that.
Well, that's all I got for you. Thanks for taking my call, Tim.
All right, thanks for the call and have a great night.
You too, man.
All right, let's jump in and take another call. We have more calls coming in. If you want to call in, you do so at 559-475-8473. Caller, you're on the air.
Hey, Tim, how you doing? This is JD.
How's it going? Doing pretty good myself.
Hey, good, man. I'm glad to hear that. Hey, man, I have a couple things I wanted to run by you.
Go for it.
I wanted to say we had a conversation about a month, maybe 2 months ago, when your son got a chance to see Bray Wyatt for the very first time. And me and you kind of chit-chatted a little bit about possibly him wearing the mask to the ring.
Okay, right.
And the last 2 times we've seen him in the ring, he was wearing that kick-ass mask.
Right.
Okay. Do you think, I personally love the mask. I hope he's able to wrestle with it like, how Kane did with that thick-ass mask that he's got going on. Now, here's the thing. With him wearing that mask and everything, do you honestly think that that Fox is going to want a character like that on their station?
I see where you're coming from as far as he's a little more scary than anything they've got.
Right.
And, I mean, we don't know exactly what brand Bray Wyatt's going to be on, whether he's going to be officially placed on Raw or SmackDown after this feud with Finn Balor. But
okay.
Just thinking about it, I can see where you're coming from in asking that question. But at the same time, it's like, WWE, they've been getting what they want from Fox for the most part. And if they want him on SmackDown, I see him being on SmackDown. But at the same time, I can also see him more without the mask, kind of like we saw last night where he did the whole thing on the screen in the Firefly Funhouse set, responding to Finn and stuff. I could see more of that as well, maybe kept for the television portion, and then when he's wrestling like on pay-per-view or something, then he's not got the mask on.
I don't think that would work in his character. If he's going to wrestle in the ring with the mask on pay-per-view, he should be wrestling in the ring, on, say Monday night or Tuesday night or whenever they go to Friday.
No, that's what I'm trying to say is maybe he's not going to wrestle as much on regular television on Raw or SmackDown, and he's kept as an attraction for pay-per-view with that mask and stuff. And that on television, he's more of the Firefly Funhouse host only, and then he builds up his feuds. He'll pop on like we've seen for 30 seconds, like we saw with the Foley thing for like a minute, with the Finn thing for like a minute, but for the most part on TV, he's just regular old Bray Wyatt.
That is not a bad idea at all. I didn't really think of that.
Yeah.
Kind of like, how I said in the past, how are we supposed to appreciate them when they're always there?
Exactly.
If you do something like that where, he pops on and he does, a little promo on Raw or whatever, and challenges somebody to, one of their main shows. Yeah, I could definitely see that. I didn't even think about that. You got me on that one.
Because even another idea would be, just like last night, he responds with the Firefly Funhouse video. But then the lights can go out, pop back on, he's the Fiend in the ring, attacking whoever he's feuding with, only needs to be a minute long if that, and then boom.
Right.
So he can still show up on television with the mask, and he can even... a good way for him to, because we think he's got this split personality disorder thing. So what cooler way to actually get both characters on the screen in like the same segment?
Yeah, that would be cool. That'd be cool as hell. All right, well, let's stick with Bray Wyatt.
Okay.
And the Monday night show that they had, the reunion, I thought it was a good show, but I thought there was a lot of opportunities that they completely missed out to get the big rub. They did the good rub with Cactus Jack, Mick Foley, and with Bray Wyatt. Now,
right.
Do you think that, considering he used the mandible claw on Mick Foley, that Mick is passing down his finishing move to Bray?
So we don't know for sure, but I think that could be what it is. And honestly, I think that move would work perfect for the Bray Wyatt character, for the Fiend character. It's a move that he can put on anybody at any time. It's something to where the lights can go out. He could be standing behind somebody. Lights come back on. They turn around because they hear him there, and boom, he's got that claw on them super quick. He doesn't have to grab them for the Sister Abigail, do the Sister Abigail move. It's something that he could just throw on really quickly on anybody, and it looks devastating if done right.
Yeah, when they had the lights started to flicker with Mick Foley, my first instinct was run, Mick, run.
Right, exactly.
Run, Mick, you know what's coming.
Exactly.
And okay, let's stick with that show. I really think that they screwed up with AJ Styles and the Good Brothers and making them look like little bitches. Sorry for my language, little bitches to DX. Like they made them run. Now they were building them up over the last couple weeks. Why would they do that rub on them when basically you're supposed to get the younger talent over and make them look good? If they made AJ Styles in the club, they made them look like little bitches.
Now, here's the thing with that. That segment was not supposed to be done with Seth Rollins. The segment was supposed to be Ricochet.
Yeah, I would have loved that.
And what happened was Ricochet has an elbow injury. Well, he's got an infection in his elbow. He can't get in the ring right now. And what they were supposed to do here was they were supposed to use DX and Hall and Nash to come down, help Ricochet fight off the club, and put Ricochet over in a big way. You got to think, AJ's not the young guy anymore. Gallows and Anderson, they're not the young guys. They're the late 30s, early 40s guys, and they were going to use making them look, I wouldn't say weak, maybe weaker than they should have, but they were going to use DX and whatnot to really put over Ricochet and be like, hey, look how good and great Ricochet is. All these Hall of Famers, because everybody in that ring was a Hall of Famer. All these Hall of Famers think he's great, and now we should think that he's great. And again, that was supposed to be Ricochet. Day of, they had to switch it to Seth. I don't know why they picked Seth. I guess it just wouldn't have made sense with anybody else as far as AJ goes, so that's why they did it.
Yeah, I was just really disappointed, because the Good Brothers just signed and apparently, from what I've been told and what I read, that they signed a new 5-year deal.
Correct.
With WWE, and then, like I said, over the last couple of weeks, they're trying to make these guys look really strong, and then they do that rub on them. I just, I get it. I understand that Ricochet, and I would have loved to seen that. But hey, man, you guys are going to have the club around for another 5 years. Well, Luke and Anderson, and AJ is going to be gone. What in the next year or two?
AJ signed a new contract in April.
So he's going to be there. Okay.
Right.
So, all right. Your point that you made, how you were saying that, these are older gentlemen, but these are still stars that are going to be in WWE for 5 more years.
Correct, but think about it. Sorry to cut you off. Think about it like this, though.
Go ahead.
It was 1 week on a show that built up nothing for the future, had nothing to build up, almost nothing to build for SummerSlam. So in retrospect, how many people are really going to remember this anyways unless we keep seeing replays of it? It's not going to hurt them in the long run, I don't think. Yes, people would have remembered it more if Ricochet was in it and it gave Ricochet the rub and stuff, but it would help Ricochet, and I don't think it hurt them at all, if not actually help them a little with Seth needing help from, how many people would you have out there? 7 guys to fight off these 3. It makes them look like, hey, how many guys did it take to fight off these 3?
I could see that, but I just figured that, for them to get a good little rub, from DX,
right.
That, you get a couple little punches in and then you flip out of the ring. You don't really do any major bumps. You don't really, hurt any of these legends that we have. But I just thought that I don't know, my personal opinion, I thought they missed out on a great opportunity.
Oh, no, you can
to go over the club a little more.
No, I totally agree, and you can look at it either way. There's arguments and for and against it.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm trying to think. There was another one. What do you think about that Evolution pay-per-view that they had last week? I got a chance to watch a couple of the matches. I thought one of my favorite matches was the Riddle match. Oh boy, and Gulak. That was a really good match. I really enjoyed watching that. And then Homeboy, I gotta say this. The Homeboy pulled up them tights, the Homeboy tits. I lost it, man. What'd you think of that pay-per-view, bro?
So you're asking about
that show? I'm sorry.
You were asking about the Evolve 10th anniversary show. I thought it was a really good show. Yeah. I would have thought maybe WWE would have put a little more of their own production into it, but it was literally, they said, hey, Evolve, you're running the show, we'll stream it on our network. They didn't help as far as production-wise. I thought maybe they would help out a little bit, but the wrestling and stuff, I thought it was great. Adam Cole and Cesaro was really good, but the match of the night was Drew Gulak versus Matt Riddle. That match was just amazing.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed that match. And, with the big news that are coming out with All Elite on October 2nd, I love this. I love AEW. I love WWE. I love what these guys are doing. And they keep talking about how they don't want to battle each other and they're not, going to war. I hate to say it. They are. They're taking so many jabs at each other that they really need to stop doing that and just focus on themselves and help the wrestling product, help the industry grow, not face and fight each other and battle each other where, AEW is putting on a show here, boom. that same weekend, we got a show that WWE popped up on the same weekend. I just, we all see this. We're all true wrestling fans see what WWE is doing. And I just wish, and I would hope, that they would stop fighting like little children in a schoolyard and just be company men and take this wrestling boom, this wrestling industry that is literally just caught on fire right now. I want to hear your thoughts on that, big dog. JD's got to get back to work. Talk to you later, bro.
All right, so thank you for the call, and have a great night. To his question about, why are they taking jabs at each other? Why are they making this a competition? I don't know. But hey, if it's going to make either side work harder, hell yeah then. If this is finally going to kick WWE's in the butt, saying, hey, this company is doing some good things, we need to step up our game, I like that then. Now, I had heard a couple things that this show this coming weekend from Nashville, Tennessee, the Smackville show, is a test. They want to see on short notice how well they can put together and put on a house show on the network. If they need to, week of or 2 weeks out, be like, hey, we got a show coming up from X city. It's going to stream on the network. And the thing with that is they want to see how well it's going to go. If they can announce a house show as a live streamed event on the network and see if it gets more engagement from fans as far as wanting to go to the show, buy tickets to the show, go see the show. I know last year when they streamed the Starcade stuff, that telling us that, yes, it's got the Starcade name, but now it's going to be on the network, helped ticket sales a little bit. I don't know how much branding the Nashville show as Smackville, a live WWE Network exclusive, has helped ticket sales. I haven't looked yet. But that's one thing they're doing with this, is if they need to, on a whim, say, oh, by the way, next Saturday's live event's going to be on the network, they want to know that it's going to be worth it for them to do so. And that's why they're doing this show here, and we may see more going forward. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if August 31st we don't see, I wouldn't be surprised on August 31st if NXT TakeOver UK is not the only special we're getting on that night. I'm just saying. Let's check out these text messages before we do wrap things up here. It says, with everything that happened on SmackDown Live with Dolph Ziggler and HBK, is it possible he comes back for one last match to redeem himself from that horrible Saudi show? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, he may wrestle again at the next Saudi show for all we know, though. Shawn Michaels, that is. Maybe Shawn wrestles Dolph at the next Saudi show. That's so far away. That's still November. But just thinking about it, I don't know. And it wasn't just Shawn that looked bad in that match, because he looked as good as he was going to look. But it was Undertaker looked bad. Kane looked bad. Triple H injured himself minutes into the match. So there was a lot of things working against them in that match. Person here, last text message says, what's going to happen to 205 Live? We don't know. One would assume that it's just going to move to Fridays, but there have been talks of dropping it come October. Nothing has been finalized. Nothing has been made official. We don't know what's going to happen with 205 Live. As of right now, Adam Pearce is the one in charge of 205 Live on the WWE Network. He is the one that runs that show after SmackDown. And I mean, it's simple. It's as simple as it moves to Fridays. It's that simple. Why not? So we'll see how that all does go once we do get the WWE moving SmackDown over to Fox on Fridays, and everything's going to change. Scheduling, talent where they need to be. I mean, no longer, I would assume the Raw crew are no longer working. Well, I take that back. No, the Raw crews could still stay the same. So now when you think about it, there's now going to be possibly not just a live event up against Raw, but a live event up against SmackDown as well. With that, I want to say thank you guys for joining me here tonight for the PW Unlimited Wednesday show, episode number 86. Now, if you are a member of PW Unlimited right here on YouTube, in roughly 10 minutes, we will be back live for members only for the PW Unlimited post show. Keep an eye on the community tab. We will be posting out the link there for you guys to jump into the post show. We're going to do about a half an hour post show exclusively for members. Now, if you're not a member, you can sign up to be a member by going down and clicking the button that says join. Click that button right there, and you can get in to our exclusive post show, again, for those people that do support PW Unlimited as a member. Again, we will be live roughly again with the post show in about 10 minutes. We'll keep refreshing that community tab, and we will post the link up there once we are live. Thank you guys for everybody who joined us live here for episode number 86 of the Wednesday show. Thank you for everybody who watched it later right here on YouTube, and also who listened all around the world on podcast services like iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Have a good night, guys. We'll see you later.